2010s look like that.
Flash games, MLG, Trollface, and swag. The internet was a very different place in the 2010s. Memes used to look like this, and YouTube was filled with content you couldn't make today. Regardless of whether you fell in love with Vaporwave, or spent way too long watching shooting star memes, you might be wondering where all of this went, and what it even was. So as things get stranger and stranger, we'll dig into the 2010s to try and find out why.
Why? Charlie? But Charlie? Bro, hell yeah. Hell yeah! Look at him go!
It's 2024 and everything has a name, including this visual style from the early 10s. Known as Internet Awesomesauce, it was most prevalent from 2008 to 2016. There's a suspicious correlation between the popularity of the word epic and the use of images like these. Common elements were rainbows, cats, dinosaurs, unicorns, and lasers.
Oh man, I remember all of that, especially the friggin' cat on the unicorn.
People were obsessed with lasers. Outside of memes and GIFs, this aesthetic could be seen all over the internet. The intro of Uncle Grandpa is—
He said GIFs? What do you mean it's GIF? It's GIF, not GIF, damn it.
a good example, showing him riding a tiger propelled by rainbows. It was also used in games, with Robot Unicorn Attack from 2010 exemplifying the style. Other instances can be found in PewDiePie's Tuber Simulator, in minigames like Puggle, and Techno Kitten Adventure. If you were browsing YouTube in 2011, you might have even seen Le Internet Medley, which boasted over 40 memes in one song. With the flying nyancats and rainbow puke, there isn't much more you could ask for. But anyway, why was this kind of humour and style so popular? While a lot of these were ironic, rainbows and unicorns formed the comedic basis of too many memes to count. Nyancat was close to the top of the most viewed videos in 2011, making it a cultural phenomenon. This, and the popularity of things like shooting stars, influenced the fascination with combining explosions and lasers to make the most epic image possible.
Oh my god, it's bringing... They're showing all these images and I'm slowly like, I now remember. I remember what the 2010s looked like.
To truly appreciate this, you've got to understand that at the time, random equaled funny. Coupling a mythical, peaceful creature like a unicorn with destruction and chaos didn't only look cool, it was unexpected and therefore humorous. This and the popularity of My Little Pony are big reasons videos like pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows have tens of millions of views. If we look at some other trends from around 2011, this begins to make a bit more sense. With social media on the rise, it was easier to make and share clips to a wider range of people. The idea of trolling was also gaining—
Not the planking, oh my goodness. What? Pinor in the Xbox Disc Tray Part 1. Okay.
Gaining traction, meaning that humour often leaned into the absurd and confusing. Naturally, Awesomesauce perfectly slots into this landscape, with its use of random combinations and niche internet memes. If you never had XX_ as part of your username, you were doing—
No! No, not the friggin' XX. Holy shit. Yep, I used to put all of the X's in all my freaking usernames because, damn it, it was cool. It was cool. Friggin' like XX Dark Angel, XX Azrael, Fallen Angel. Oh my gosh. I was doing things wrong. Yes. We're under attack. Putting the X's on our name. I just let Xbox pick my screen name. What? No way. You had to put like XX friggin' Demon Angel or something.
something wrong. The brain rot of today pales in comparison to the content juggernaut that was MLG. You might have watched MLG Peppa Pig, Game of Thrones, or any number of trickshot edits. If it was really bad, maybe you even got caught downloading green screen packs and piecing together your own. Some of the more iconic visuals were Snoop Dogg, random quickscopes, Cool Ranch Doritos, and COD hit markers. Pyrocynical was a
shit, that scared me. What? XXX God Syndrome. Hell yeah, Kitsuya. Hell yeah.
Major perpetrator, being the man behind MLG Teletubbies and furry inflation art. I find it crazy to look back and see the views on some of these videos. Many are well above 10 million, which speaks to the absolute chokehold they had on the internet. Another recurring detail was Illuminati confirmed, which would often involve a text-to-speech voice linking random things to the all-seeing eye. With that and enough explosions and air horns, you could turn any no-scope into a work of art. Outside of the visuals, they featured numerous sound effects and songs that are probably imprinted deep within your temporal lobe. If you weren't humming it already, My Hope Will Never Die or Holdin' On was the most iconic, with the X-Files theme also playing a major role. The horrific audio of successful trickshot reactions was featured a lot too. If you're a real one, comment with the rest of this phrase.
Oh, baby.
These kinds of edits can be traced back to as early as 2011, specifically a World of Warcraft video made by Jamal. With the green screen overlay of a quickscope, it provides the first known example of an MLG style montage. The reason such videos rose to prominence is in the name, Major League Gaming. Professional esports teams would release highlight reels that went on to inspire fans to begin making their own. With many of these simply being replays recorded by an iPhone, they were usually much worse in quality and far more amusing. As the internet did its thing, these became more and more—
Damn, did you see that Xbox friend online? Holy shit.
or deranged, and eventually morphed into the irony-laden masterpieces that plagued the 2010s. Unlike the memes of today, MLG lasted a few years before losing traction, disappearing, for the most part, in 2017. Even though the last decade was only a few years ago, things have changed a lot online. Here on YouTube, this is especially apparent. A perfect case study for this is the rise and fall of Let's Plays. Let's Plays are the reason many of your favourite YouTubers are your favourite YouTubers. Broadly, this style of video involved commentary over clips of a video game that focused on the player's experience of it rather than a guide or a walk.
Hell yeah, Let's Play videos. I like to put Let's Play videos on when I'm at work, and I just kind of like listen to them in the background. It's really relaxing.
Walkthrough. The general format is credited to Michael Sawyer, or Slowbeef, whose 2007 playthrough of The Immortals is widely considered to be the first modern Let's Play. As YouTube began to take off, this style of video did as well. People like PewDiePie would emerge with wildly successful series like his horror playthroughs. The draw here wasn't just the game, it was his reactions and experience of it. By naming enemies and objects like Stefano, he built up his own lore inside these videos that kept people coming back regardless of the game he was playing. Markiplier found similar success with his Five Nights at Freddy's Let's Plays, the first of which was uploaded in August of 2014 and currently sits at over 100 million views. Today, however, Let's Plays are seemingly a thing of the past, at least as a method of blowing up. Arguably, this is mostly due to the oversaturation of gaming content on the site. Making a video titled Let's Play XYZ Episode 3 isn't as likely to take off anymore in a sea of very similar videos. The current landscape does, however, favour challenge videos with an interesting premise, like the Fallout series by It's Jarbo. Another reason Let's Plays have disappeared—
What in the freaking hell is that? What am I looking at?
is that they haven't. They've just moved. Instead of watching a YouTube video, much of the audience for Let's Plays has shifted over to streaming. Here they can tune in whenever they want and watch a content creator they like play the game for much longer periods of time. Moving on, if you ever watched the Cake trilogy by Filthy Frank, iDubbbz and Max Mofo, you likely remember when shock humour reigned supreme. By around 2016, this had come to a peak, with gaming content becoming slightly less popular. In an interview with Trash Taste, PewDiePie refers to this as the Filthy Frank era, a time when even he adapted to the change by making edgier content with a raspier voice.
Hey guys, can I take your boyfriend for a ride?
What the hell? Macho Man. Randy. But, like, he had a dragon tail? What? Oh my gosh. What the What in the hell is this? What the heck? No, it's so weird. What the Oh my gosh, I can't zoom in, but whatever.
He's in.
This was partially the byproduct of ambiguity surrounding YouTube's content policies. There wasn't as clear of a line between unacceptable and acceptable practices. People were maintaining
What
high
the
viewerships
hell?
and growing exponentially, while saying and doing things that would be pulled from the site today. For example, the Cake Trilogy was retroactively removed following a more recent reaction from PewDiePie. This likely reminded YouTube that they still existed and didn't align with the updated content guidelines. In 2017, we saw the beginning of this with the Adpocalypse. I remember at the time this felt like a huge deal, with many large channels being legitimately concerned about their income. The term describes a mass withdrawal of advertisers from YouTube following several large-scale controversies. Many were no longer comfortable showing ads on content that wasn't family-friendly, resulting in some channels receiving ads while others didn't. For creators like Filthy Frank, this made it all but impossible to make money from their videos. This meant that there was less incentive to make edgy, humorous content, and it quickly declined in popularity. Some of these YouTubers adapted and continue to thrive on YouTube today. Others, like Frank, haven't been seen since 2017. I have, however, found an artist called Joji who sounds strangely similar to Pink Guy.
What the hell? Memes!
It's hard to categorize something as unpredictable as memes, let alone analyze their use through an entire decade, but we're gonna do it anyway. Thanks to Reddit users like Papercup, there's been many attempts to organize them into specific eras. Today, we'll be focusing on 3 that span the 2010s: Rage, Dank, and Surreal. Starting with Rage, this term is derived from Rage comics, which began in 2008 on sites like 4chan. These would typically be short, with 4 panels based around humorous or irritating real-life experiences. The common thread was a collection of so-called rage faces made in MS Paint.
What the hell?
You'll recognize Troll Face, Rage Guy, Why You Know Guy, and Serial Guy. This became
I love Serial Guy and Rage Guy.
more widespread with the inception of r/f in 2009. Funnily enough, this is still active, although not nearly as prolific.
I got a job that pays well, so I can finally afford to buy things. Meanwhile, companies be like, raise all the prices. Can't afford anything anymore.
Top and bottom text memes were pretty big at this time as well, slapped on top of images like Bad Luck Brian, Overly Attached Girlfriend, and Boromir. These all followed simple formulas that anyone could relate to and make themselves. All it required was an internet connection, the impact font, and a dream. As 2013 rolled around, we can identify a shift into the dank meme era. Here, memes became considerably more abstract, and less centered around understandable and repetitive tropes like these. This period encapsulates the peak of MLG, the use of these classes, and Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life. Still,
What the
these
hell?
were far from the most iconic. 9+10, Harambe, Vape Nation, We Are Number One, and Do You Know the Way all emerged in a similar time frame. Instagram meme accounts started to become huge, all as part of a multi-platform ecosystem that produced, propelled, and modified memes throughout their life cycle. A big reason some of these were so bizarre and nonsensical was that Gen Z was growing up and becoming increasingly active on social media. By using themes and references that only they could understand, they distanced themselves from older generations and formats. This is also why some of them were quite edgy, with all of it playing a role in forming their own distinct online identity. You can see this reflected in the creators who were popular among the demographic. As I mentioned before, if you weren't watching Let's Plays, you might have tuned into Max Mofo, iDubbbz, or Filthy Frank, who had collaborations that spawned some of the most shared memes and phrases. A perfect example of this is the green screen of It's Time to Stop, which appeared in hundreds of edits on multiple platforms.
What?
Next up is the Surreal era, that kicked off in the late 2010s. This was home to deep-fried memes, crab rave, and of course, the release of Fortnite. To be honest, things started to take a turn for the worse.
Fortnite. Friggin' Fortnite, man. What was the other one before this? What was it? Oh yeah, the crab rave. Hell yeah, crab rave.
And
Fortnite.
of course, the release of Fortnite. To be honest, things started to take a turn for the worse here. Deep fried memes were made by running an image through a filter over
What
and
in
over
the-
until it became warped and barely legible. This
Those look terrible. What? Like, these are not even funny. What the hell? What?
would be combined with an equally ridiculous piece of text, if any at all. Surreal memes, on the other hand, often featured this guy. He was associated
And, like, you can't even read them.
with things like the layers of irony and the term angery, popping up everywhere online. Mr. Orange or Orang is another example. Consistent with its name, this humour operated on a similar premise to much older memes. To be random and confusing was to be funny. Not many of these made sense, and it was often that and their absurdity that made them entertaining.
I don't even understand.
Happy Wheels, Bloons Tower Defense, and The Impossible Quiz have one thing in common. They are all Flash games. The mid-2000s and the early 2010s are considered the golden age for this kind of gaming. Most of
Hell yeah, Flash games. You guys ever played the Papa games? I miss them. Can I find them? Yeah, like these. Go in the tabby. I miss all of these. Freaking Papa's freeze. No, I have Propa. I have Papa's Freezeria on Steam actually, but they haven't brought any of the other ones to Steam. Papa's Burgeria, Pastaria, oh, Hot Doggeria, Donuteria, Cupcakeria. Oh my gosh. I want to play them. I want to play them again, but I can't because Flash isn't supported no more. Flash isn't supported. Can I play them on here? Wait. Wait. Oh my... Wait, can I actually play them on this? What do you mean? Papa's Freezeria is too loud. Oh... No way! I can play them on here? Holy shit. Well. If you guys don't see me. For a while. You know why? You know why. I was lost in Papa's Freezeria, Burgeria, and everything.
My exposure to these titles was on Cool Maths games, where I'd spend hours playing Fireboy and Water Girl and Papa's Diarrhea. I distinctly remember spamming the source until I had a stack about 3 feet tall, selling it for $0
yes.
and then quitting the game. Turning back time even further, Flash first released in 1996. People eventually figured out that it was possible to make games on it, with many of them starting to pop up in the early 2000s. The website Newgrounds emerged at a similar time, and soon became a massive
Y'all seen the dad and me, right? Like, just seeing that.
platform for user-generated Flash games. This website made it possible for almost anyone to produce, share, and play.
What? Excuse me? What is this? What's her bra size? Foamy hospital stay? What are these games? Hello?
Produce, share, and play others' work online, with the only requirement being a clickable link. Of course, these games weren't limited to Newgrounds, as they could be embedded and accessed through any other website, like Cool Maths games. This meant that if your game wasn't
The ads are over now, so let us continue. You also have Sunhaven, nice.
received well in one place, there was always a chance it could take off in another. As a result, it's no surprise that some of these games became massive. Happy
Whoa.
Wheels was, and still is, huge. YouTubers like PewDiePie and Markiplier did Let's Plays that received millions of views, with Jacksepticeye uploading as recently as April 2024. By now, you've likely heard that Flash is no longer a thing, but you might be surprised to learn that the end of Flash games was heralded by Steve Jobs way back in 2010. In his famous Thoughts on Flash letter, he criticised Adobe for Flash's security issues, poor performance, and the fact that it was a closed system. This meant that Apple would have less control over the software and any bug fixes, being one of the main reasons they refused to support it on iOS. As the years passed and things like HTML5 rose to prominence and offered more security, Flash sped towards the inevitable. Soon enough, Adobe announced its end of life in 2017, and Flash took its last breath in 2020. Thankfully,
that was a sad day. I seen that and I was like, no, my Papa games. What will I do?
Many of these games were preserved, and it's entirely possible to still play them. This isn't to say, however, that thousands weren't lost to time. If you recognise this image, you most likely remember Vaporwave. This picture is the cover of Floral Shop, an album made by the artist Vectroid. The most iconic song from the selection was Lisa Frank 420. This was used everywhere, in memes, edits, and often as part of YouTube outros. Of course, Vaporwave was much more than just a subgenre of music. It was also a distinct and fascinating aesthetic that began on the internet. Common features included retro 3D graphics, pink and purple pastels, dolphins, and foliage.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, the friggin' dolphins. I remember that. I actually feel like I remember this aesthetic too, like the color palette and stuff.
Its inception in the early years of the decade, Vaporwave began to rapidly spread over numerous platforms. Whether you found it on commentary channels or songs on Bandcamp, it quickly became undeniably huge, peaking at around 2015. There was even an entire game called Mall Quest made in this style. Copies of this can still be found online, although the original version was taken down. It was described as a procedurally generated shopping sim, and it actually looked pretty cool. Returning to design, you might notice that, for an aesthetic born in the 2000s...
What the hell? Why didn't I know about this? I probably would have played it. Maybe.
2010's, it feels a bit out of place. That's because most of the imagery you're seeing here was heavily inspired by the 80s and 90s. This transcended architecture, with one of the most influential artifacts being a game. Echo the Dolphin, for the Sega Genesis, informed music and aesthetics alike, largely responsible for the heavy use of dolphins in design. Looking at Floral Shop, one of the songs is even named after this title. If you were big on Vaporwave in the 2010s, there's a good chance you recall some of its numerous subgenres. I've mentioned this before, but one of my personal favourites is Mallsoft. Being quite liminal, this would pair shops and plazas with subtle edits to bring out their colour.
Oh, damn. I was just reminded, wasn't there like a mall tycoon? Because like, I just had flashbacks of playing. Oh my god, there is a game called Mall Tycoon. I want to play it now. I want to play it. What the hell? I'm leaving this tab open. See if I can find it somehow. Mall Tycoon.
Recognizable style is synthwave. While sharing similar elements to Vaporwave, it's actually an entirely separate aesthetic. Where it celebrates the neon colours and media from the 80s, Vaporwave presents a more satirical and at times political reflection of the 80s and 90s. Synthwave is responsible for all of the backgrounds you had that looked like this. Endless grids, cityscapes, and cars. I don't remember how many times I put on one of these videos, but it was definitely more than once. Anyway, unlike other aesthetics in this video, Vaporwave and Synthwave are still active in smaller online communities. While they are far from their previous position in the mainstream, you can still find new releases if you know where to look.
Barbershop Simulator. Swag!
You either have it or you don't, but if you're subscribed, you definitely do. Swag, in this context, described a style of fashion that was very popular in the early 2010s. While the word itself had been around for years before, pieces like You're a Jerk by the New Boys jump-started this new manifestation, which continued for a couple years in the form of music and clothing. To be swagged out involved flat brim caps with the brim intact, racks spent on clothes and more hats, and your front and back labelled with Obey draped in knickknacks.
Is this when Soulja Boy was out too? Soulja Boy. No, that was like 2007. Soulja Boy! Y'all know what Soulja Boy is, right? Hold. What did I just press? What did I just press?
Oh,
You know what? Everyone hated that song so much, I think. I kind of liked it. Not gonna lie.
These caps were often brought down to cover your eyes in photos, which would then be put through the first filter available on Instagram or Tumblr. People don't really use these anymore when posting, but good lord were they popular back then. Scroll down far enough through
Oh my god, I remember that Instagram icon. That was so much cooler than the icon that it has right now.
anyone's account, without liking anything of course, and you'll find a world of yellow, grainy filters and vignettes. Shutter shades were also pretty big at the time, with people like Kanye frequently wearing them. Anyway, swag was boosted along by artists like Lil B, who posted the song I Own Swag in 2012. The term, then, was rapidly becoming widespread, in tandem with the production of too many ridiculous caps to count. This entire trend produced some of the most bizarre and iconic fits of the 21st century. Zendaya had some absolutely diabolical drip, and Justin Bieber was straight up malicious. Halfway through the decade, swag started to slow down, and massive obey caps became less and less desirable. The word itself evolved to become more ironic, and was largely replaced by words like drip among younger generations.
Ugh. Swag sounds so much better than drip. Ugh.
By 2013, the use of what is now known as Frutiger Aero had largely vanished. For a time after its decline, a similar aesthetic became more popular in corporate design. This is referred to as Frutiger Metro. You might have seen it on your—
Bro. I remember working on like a school project, and literally I used this image of these people. I swear, these friggin' images of these people, the silhouettes.
Xbox 360, CDs, or textbooks. At the time, this style marked the beginning of more flat and minimalist approaches to UI. After all, it gets its name from the Metro design language created by Microsoft. This emphasized simple geometric patterns and shapes, absent of the glossy 3D look of the past. Windows 8 is a prime example of this, with its colorful selection of tiles and icons. The aesthetic is also known as flat Frutiger Aero, as it shares a lot of the same imagery, but without the depth and glossiness. When looking at these designs, you'll notice the prevalence of speakers, dancing silhouettes, and swirls of color. It was pretty much the stock choice for making a product appear more interesting than it actually was. By slapping it on a CD or a poster, you could quickly add some vibrancy and energy. Much like Vaporwave, even it can be divided into smaller, equally recognizable categories. For example, Funky Metro, centered around instruments, DJs, and dancing, is a lot different to Grungy Metro, which relates to scene and darker colors. Outside of its classifications, you could spot Frutiger Metro in a bunch of
Wait. Oh my god, guys. I swear I had this as my freaking background. I think I even had it as my laptop sticker.
Outside of its classifications, you could spot Frutiger Metro in a bunch of advertisements. This one for Nickelodeon is an interesting example, showing Jack Black amidst bright splashes of colour. Going as far back as 2004, we can find some of its earlier appearances, like the ad shown here. You'll notice that, much like Frutiger Aero, nature still played a big role in these designs. When shown alongside technology, this was likely done to help it appear less intimidating and more accessible. By animating things like plants and dolphins, devices could feel less alien and more familiar. The use of this style today has been overwhelmingly shelved in favour of minimalism, meaning it kind of served as a transitional period between the maximalist aesthetics of the 2000s and the flat designs of today. Looking at other
Man, I miss all this stuff today. It's like so boring. So boring with their stupid minimalism and like bland colors.
videos we've done on this channel on the 90s and the 2000s, you can make out clear, long-lasting and distinct aesthetic styles. A lot of these were used by corporations to make technology appear advanced and exciting, hinged on an almost fantastical anticipation for the future. By the
Hell yeah, the Motorola. Look at that beautiful Motorola and the CD Discman. I had one that almost looked exactly like this in the camera. freaking camera, man. I used to be so excited. I'd go take pictures and everything and be excited to like upload them on the computer and stuff.
Future. By the 2010s, this future was well underway, and with it, the internet. If you weren't logged in at the start of the decade, you definitely were before the end, and I know this because you're watching this video. The number of people who are online more than doubled from 2010 to 2020, meaning that people's experiences of the world were increasingly informed by things on the internet. And so the reason the 2010s looked like that is you. User-driven media like YouTube videos, vines, flash games, and memes sculpted millions of people's lives even outside of the internet. Simultaneously, this media started to become people's lives. Making videos with a shitty webcam was suddenly profitable, and the creation of content was something anyone could do. So while some of it may be cringe now, all of it played a role in creating what many consider to be the golden age of the internet.
Damn. Oh my god. Like the indestructible Nokia phone.